Hello everyone and welcome to the channel Chess Quest 777. Today I will show you the game Lasker Bauer played in 1889 in Amsterdam. In this game, White decided to choose the bird opening. After f4, d5, e3, knight f6, White continues development by fianchettoing his bishop by b3. Then e6, Black chooses the Queen's Gambit formation, which is typical after d5, e6, and then bishop e7. Then in the game there was bishop b2, bishop e7, and White puts the bishop on d3, which in principle can have certain negative consequences, since the bishop blocks the way for its own pawn d2, and this pawn cannot take part in any potential clashes in the center. Therefore, their move can in principle be considered unsuccessful in a certain respect. On the other hand, the bishop is aimed at the king side of the black, and this can have a more significant impact on the course of the game. b6 was followed. Black in turn decides to fianchetto his light squared bishop, then knight c3, another move blocking the way for his own pawn, but in this case the knight has a clear route. Next, bishop b7. Then the f3 knight and d7 knight move to their natural positions, and after castlings, the development of the sides can be considered complete. Then follows the previously planned knight transfer. The knight goes to e2 and black plays c5. In general, the c5 move is quite useful, since it takes control of the central square. But on the other hand, there was an opportunity to play knight c5 and exchange the dangerous white light square bishop, thereby significantly reducing the attacking potential of the white pieces. But c5 was followed, and then knight g3. The white knight is transferred to g3, closer to the king side. Queen c7 followed, but here it was possible to place the knight in the center by knight e4, using the fact that the pawn on d2 is hindered by its own bishop from going to d3 and driving away the knight. But knight e4 did not follow. Queen c7 was played. Now White conveniently places his knight in the center, knight e5, and Black took this knight. Then bishop e5, queen c6. Here, in principle, if Whites intended to play knight h5, they could immediately go this way. With queen e2, the move a6 is provoked, as was played in the game, and only now knight h5. Also, the inclusion of moves queen e2 and a6 was not necessarily at all, and Black took this nimble horse, which is decisive mistakes, losing the game. It is suggested to pause and find a decisive combination for White. The move is bishop takes h7, then king h7, queen h5, and after king g8, White completely destroys the pawn shelter of the king side with the move bishop takes g7. After king g7, White first move queen g4, check, and only then the rook approaches from f3. The point of this move order is to cut off the king on the h file, since there is no move king f6 due to obvious checkmate. After king h7, rook f3, Black is in desperate situation. Checkmate in one move is threatened, e5 follows, thus the queen joins the defense, but this measure is no longer helpful. Rook h6, king h6 follows, and here the last move of the combination queen d7. Double attack, both bishops are unprotected, one of them dies. After the bishop f6, queen takes b7, the black cannot immediately take e takes f4, since the bishop is hanging after rook f1 and it will recover the pawn. Therefore, the bishop is first defended by black, thus creating a threat e takes f4, but still the rook f1 and black plays rook b8, queen is under attack. It's possible to take the pawn, but Lasker apparently feared some activity of the black pieces, so he played queen d7 and still the rook d8, and then the queen g4 check, king f8, f takes e5 follows. It turns out that the file for the rook is open and the pawn cannot be taken back. The bishop g7 follows. A double attack queen e6 will be possible in response to the capture on e5, and black loses in this case. There is no f6 since the pawn is pinned, so the bishop g7, e6 follows. White press on the pin, rook b7. The pressure continues by the queen g6, and after f6 it's once again suggested to pause and find the final blow in this game. Rook f6, bishop f6, queen f6 followed, a double attack, forcing the king e8, and then taking advantage of the fact that both rooks are placed awkwardly and are not protected, White finishes the game with this blow. This is a game I wanted to show you. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.